I live on the coast. There is water outside my house, and therefore I'm going to tell you what time it is now. In Arizona, we just decide it's always going to be 10 o'clock, whether daylight savings happens or not. No?
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, so I go into my coffee maker's on the fritz. It makes lukewarm coffee. So it's Christmas is coming. I'll solve that problem here soon. So I go into Starbucks, and they have like a Thanksgiving blend of coffee. What is that? What is Thanksgiving
Yeah.
coffee? I mean,
That
I
just
understand
sounds.
holiday coffee because it has peppermint in it, but Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Does it have
Or
turkey in it?
cloves or something. I know, right? Thanksgiving is associated with savory flavors, so unless it's like
And then, so you've got like,
gravy.
what, 3 weeks of build up to Halloween? And then the Halloween kind of extends into November. And then you've got to quickly roll out Thanksgiving Day coffee for like a week. Thanksgiving, just the heck with Thanksgiving. It's 2 days off and move on, right? Are we live yet? Oh, we are live.
We are. Yes, yes. U Chicago GIS says it's a cup full of gravy in regards to our chit chat about
Oh no. Well, good morning,
Thanksgiving.
everybody. This is Hangouts with James Fee. I'm James Fee. I'm joined with Madeline Steele, as always, in sunny, overcast.
No. It's winter now.
Yeah, and we'll just
It's going
say
to be
in
raining for the
Portland,
next
Oregon.
6 months. Yeah.
How you doing, Madeline?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking
So,
forward to the holiday.
so everybody joined to listen to us talk to Luke, but Luke is not joining us. Luke will
Yes.
join us hopefully at the beginning of January.
Yeah, he should be here on the 9th. He gives his apologies for his last minute cancellation,
Yeah.
but
So
couldn't be avoided.
we'll get him on. We really want to talk to him. So other than that, we're just going to sort of wing this. I did you have a good? Did you have a? I haven't talked to you since GIS Day. Do you have a good GIS Day?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was fun. We did our thing last week, of course, the career panel, which was great. But then in the evening, myself and some others organized like a pub get together for local GIS types, and it was crazy packed. Like we had like 80 or 90 people show up, and
That's Portland, though. You say you're going to meet somewhere for beer, and you say it's going to be women in Ruby, and like 1,000 people come just to drink
yeah,
beer.
yeah. I think a lot of people arrived and then immediately left because it was so ridiculously packed. So it was like overstimulating.
Yeah,
But
GIS Day is hard, right? Because you got Veterans Day, right? And so you're celebrating Veterans Day, and all of a sudden GIS Day happens, and then you quickly got to get out the post-GIS Day tree, the poll or whatever
yeah,
you set up.
yeah.
So there's no time to actually celebrate GIS Day because you got.
And and the other thing is GIS Day also falls on National Diabetes Day or International Diabetes Day. So you just kind of feel like, I
Yeah,
don't
you
know what
don't
do you
want to
do?
do.
Make a map of diabetes.
It's
Distribution.
like it's like you pick out a random day. We'll just celebrate it. Is it the 14th or is it like the second Wednesday in November?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Is it like one of these things where like the date changes every year, or
I have no idea.
I, I don't know. I guess I could look at the wiki entry. So,
So
so
yeah,
what do we?
people who are watching, if you have any particular things that you want us to discuss, we've got some ideas, but please send us questions in the IRC or to James on Twitter.
Yeah, so we're just gonna do this sort of. Y'all see my bald spot up there? My son has pointed out that I have a bald spot now. Uh, so we're just gonna kind of ad lib this a little bit. I thought I'd start out and talk a little bit about Planet Geospatial because I've been thinking about Planet Geospatial and what to do with it. And I set up a blog post yesterday, which people seem to like the picture of me skiing down a hill of money. um, I started Planet Geospatial back before Madeline was born in 2005. No,
I'm really not that young.
no.
I'm
And so
30,
it's been about
31.
7 years, and I really haven't done much to it since then. I don't want to sound like I don't care about it, but it's very low maintenance. I just cron job runs once an hour. runs a Python script, builds an HTML page, goes up on the on the website. People use it. It sort of sat there, and I used to curate it. I guess I used to go out and find GIS blogs and websites and stuff like that. But I don't think I don't really do that anymore.
Huh.
You know, I
How
don't know
many
why.
people use it or are subscribed to it?
I don't know. I can get the I'll get the stats up here while I'm talking. But you know, let me see our blog stats. I can't click and talk at the same time. Let's see. I get past day. I have. Gosh, why can't you just? Why, analytics are so complicated. I'm getting about 3,000 unique hits a day. So part of that might be people going to the website, and part of it might be RSS readers just doing whatever RSS readers do. So it basically is this page, and I actually make it my homepage because I like to come up and see something. You know, back before Planet Geospatial, I think a lot of people used my.yahoo.com, right? You'd have this little page, and you'd go there, and I think a lot of people in our space use Planet. So I totally get it's valuable. But then people are saying, you know, it's kind of where the people go to hear GIS news, and to me, I don't think that's a big deal. In the sense that, you know, it's where you should go to learn about things you don't normally subscribe to. You might have this group of blogs you subscribe to, and then you can go to Planet Geospatial and get this flavor of other stuff. But then I was looking at, I'm like, you know what? I haven't updated it much in a while on my own, curated it. So it basically comes for what I was doing about 2 years ago, which was more Esri-centric as opposed to now, which isn't very Esri-centric at all. So last night I went ahead and added a ton of new GIS blogs to it that I subscribe to, and hopefully in the next week or two you'll start seeing that stuff percolate through the feed. So I basically said there was 3 options I have with it. You know, one is to sell. I got an offer from some schmo who probably will kill it and throw some ads on it and make a quick buck. The other thing to do is not do anything with it, or sort of continue the way I'm doing it right now. You know, add some new feeds as it goes, or make it something different. You know, and I don't know what that means. You know, there is already, you know, Stack Exchange and Reddit. So I mean, it doesn't need to be something like that, but you know, there's got to be something else in there to do. But I don't know what it is, and I haven't really fleshed it out yet because it would take time and effort of myself to do it. And you know, I don't want to do it, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, eh. So if I'm going to put my time into it, I want to see other people put money to get it done. So do I take donations for that? But nobody donates money. You know, here's $1. Go get yourself some coffee. You know, so it's hard to raise money that way. You know, people are like, oh, I'll set up a Kickstarter, but I don't know. You know, I guess I could hold out a cup and say, hey, donate some money and see where it goes. So I don't really know what I'm going to do right now. I think what I'm going to do is just try and clean it up a little bit, add some feeds to it. I would like to find somebody who's better at CSS than I am to clean up the page a little bit. There's some things I want to do that I can't get to do. I hate when I can't figure it out, and Google won't tell me how to do it.
Oh, poor James.
I know, right?
Well, you know, at least I myself think that it's useful still. So I don't know. I mean, if you're not putting that much effort into it, of course, revising it could be cool, but I feel like you need to have a clear vision of where you're going with it before you start, you know, trying to get people on board with that.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of people say, leave it the way it is. And then I'll say, oh, I wish it sort of did this. And they go, oh, that would be kind of cool. You know, one thing I was talking about is the ability to add links to maybe non-blogs to it. So you're going along and you read something in Guardian or Reuters or something like that, and you want to add that to the feed, that you could click a little ad and it would generate, you know, something, and it would still go through all that. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't think that would be that hard, but I need to look at how the back-end software I use stores stuff. but then again, it comes in this thing where it's going to require me to do something, and if nobody likes it, then what did I just do? So I think what I'm going to do right now is I don't think I'm going to sell it, mainly because there's just not that much money in selling it.
Yeah, and that would just be kind of lame, to have it
If it was
suddenly
like, I
turn
mean, if it
into a
was like
power shop.
$100,000, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
But a couple $1,000s,
Is the person interested, like a GIS or a
Oh,
geospatial
totally
person at all?
not.
Oh, okay,
Totally not.
yeah. It's like,
And I even think it's somewhat sexual in nature.
what? What do you mean? They want to turn it into some
No,
kind of
I don't want to go
cheesecake?
any further because this is a
Okay,
family show. But
all right, yeah.
um,
Family
yeah, I
always
won't.
seems to be.
Well, everything's sort of that way. So I think
Well,
I think I'm gonna leave it the way it is. And
that is what B. Flood in the IRC thinks. Is that Brian?
yeah, it's
What is
Brian
he?
Flood, Arc to
Yeah.
Earth,
He says just leave it. Serves its purpose.
right? Why am I not using Arc to Earth to generate Planet Geospatial, Brian? Why can't Arc to Earth do this for me? I don't know. He's probably laughing, but he's got to get that .NET code up and running. So I don't know. I think right now I'm going to put when I say I'm not doing anything with it, that's not fair because I do play around with it a little bit. But I think I'm going to put a little bit of more effort into it, clean it up a little bit, try and improve the feeds. I pulled a bunch of feeds off that had advertisements in them because I just can't stand ads on Planet Geospatial. So if your blog was pulled off, it was because you have a feed or an ad in your feed. So if you want it back in, just submit a feed that doesn't have an ad in the bottom. So
Hmm.
it
Well,
is what it
cool.
is. Yeah, Planet Geospatial is kind of funny because it started out just because I wanted a new start page, nothing more. And I just sort of created it on my own, and then shared it with a friend, and he's like, "That's awesome." And then I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh man, I need a good domain," and so I bought planetgeospatial.com, org, net, US, EU, whatever else I could, and it got so hard to type that in. It's like you get to a certain point and your fingers get tired and you start messing it up. So then I just said, I wonder if Planet GS is available, and it is. You'd think, I mean, that was back in 2005. I mean, now domains, there's no such thing as a domain that isn't being used, but it's funny how something you just create, on the side. So one thing I did do last night is I pushed all the code for Planet Geospatial into my GitHub repository. So if somebody does want to take and do it themselves, you're welcome to fork it and grab whatever out you want. I don't really care. I
Cool.
have
Well, that's a
fun.
good move.
Right? We
Hopefully, we'll
could.
get a good Samaritan with some great CSS skills, and they'll
Yeah, we
spruce it
will
up for
see.
you.
We will see. So I think that's it on Planet Geospatial. Big group hug. We all love it. It ain't going anywhere. But anytime you can Photoshop yourself on top of Uncle Scrooge
Scrooge
McDuck,
McDuck.
yeah,
Uh,
it's.
that was choice. Yeah.
I was up late. It's like 12 o'clock midnight, and here I am trying to Photoshop something. I'm like, I should be in bed, and here I am trying to get the Photoshop perfect. I'm zooming way in because the pixel. It's like nobody cares, but it's just for me. That's why I don't do Photoshops much anymore. I'm too much a perfectionist. I just need.
Mm.
There's
Yeah, it's
something
easy to get
awesome about
lost.
making them kind of crazy. So I got an interesting question this week, and I asked it on Twitter, and I got some interesting answers. And I thought maybe you and I could talk about it. What is scripts? What's a script? You know, I'm. I asked the question. I came up with this nice programmatic answer. A script is interpreted. And he said, "Man, that doesn't make any sense to me."
Huh.
So it's like, how do you describe what scripting is or a script is to somebody who um, doesn't really know what programming is, doesn't know what Python is? They're more wizard-based work. So, we were sort of talking about this the other night over beers, and people would come up with an idea that scripts are not compiled; they're interpreted by another program. Like you need ArcInfo, you need Python, you need ArcView, you need something else, Perl,
Hmm.
to run them. And versus if you run something in C, you write the the file, and then you compile it, then it runs everywhere. But every time, once you start talking like that, someone goes, well, this, then it's like, oh crap, you're right. It's more complicated than this. So, I don't know. What is a script to you?
Well, aside from the whole being an interpreted language thing, I guess I tell people that I do scripts. I wouldn't tell anyone I was a programmer, because I don't actually prepare something with a GUI that someone who doesn't have their own programming skills could easily use. I mostly just do it to do repetitive tasks for my own workflow, maybe share it with a colleague or two. But yeah, I feel like scripts are just about working on your own little projects, and programming is about preparing something that non-technical people can use too. That's one way. That's how I look at it, I guess. But there's, the Wikipedia article on scripting lays it all out. It has all these different things that generally define a script as opposed to a program. And
is that what we do now? When I was younger, we used to say Webster's defines scripting as blah blah blah, and now we say Wikipedia defines scripting as.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty thorough. So
yes, someone Chicago GIS says non-compiler definition is probably the simplest, even though there are exceptions. So yeah, it's exactly what I was saying. It's like, every time you come up with something, there's always that one guy in the corner. It doesn't say anything until you go out on the edge, and he's like, well, you know what? You're wrong. Thank you for helping me. So he was basically wanting to know, from a hiring standpoint, what can he look for? What can he put in his job listings? When resumes come in, what can non-programmers look at to figure out, is this person qualified to script?
So he was trying to figure out a definition or a set of keywords that an HR person who doesn't know about scripting could pull out of a resume and understand that the person's qualified? Is that what you're saying?
Or at least, through the first interview might be with an HR person, right? Some HR person might call and say, hey, are you able to write scripts in Python? And of course, everyone says, yeah, sure, I can write scripts in Python. And then how do you follow that up with something that signifies whether you can do that or not? And then he was asking me, well, what does that mean? Do you, if I'm hiring a scripter for GIS, what does that person, what are the basic skill sets? And I was like, well, it's almost like you need sort of the hacker mentality to be a scripter in GIS. I wouldn't expect for somebody to come in, have a text editor that's blank, and start, typing. I mean, I don't think anybody does that anymore. So they need to be able to
define the hacker mentality.
Yeah, you got to scrounge. You got to be able to look, find stuff, and be able to copy and paste. But anybody can copy and paste, right? But when you copy and paste and then run it and it fails because some weird error, how to figure out how to debug that and get it to work.
Right.
That's what I would. I mean, you're probably the same way. You just find scripts you've written before, or Google says, here's this, you copy it, paste it in, and run it. Doesn't run. Change a couple things, run it again, doesn't run. Oh, I forgot to do this. I didn't import, whatever library, and bam, you're up and running. Right?
Yeah. It's all about tinkering and tweaking and troubleshooting.
So I have to come clean here. Before we started, I was talking about Vim and writing it as an editor. And Madeline, look, she's still kind of looking confused.
I still have no idea what you're talking about. So, I'm sorry.
What do you write?
I hope I shouldn't be embarrassed.
What do you write your scripts in?
Python? I mean, I use Eclipse.
Editor.
I've been using Eclipse, the IDE.
Okay.
Works
so
pretty
Vim
well.
is, if you're at any command line, you can type VIM and hit enter and figure out what's going on.
Okay, yeah.
It's some crazy thing that was created for some obscure Unix, probably in the 70s, and then some guy ported it to Amiga, and then we're all using it today. It's can't believe you don't use Vim.
I really don't. I'm not that high level with this stuff.
Oh,
So,
but you script all the time, though, right?
not constantly. Maybe every couple, 3 weeks, there's something here. I script on my thesis at home more often than that, actually. So,
Thesis. You done with that
doing
yet?
ArcPy. Close. I've got all my numbers. Now I just have to sort of pull the story out of it somehow. So
Doesn't write itself?
make some figures and maps and whatnot and write it up. So closing in
Oh,
on it. Graduating next term, February-ish. So
this February?
yeah, I'll present in February. Yeah.
It's like tomorrow.
I know, right? I should be at home working on my thesis.
But you're not. You're at work talking to me on...
Chatting about Vim.
Did you say BIM or Vim with a V?
Vim.
Okay,
Is it
Vim.
with a
Yeah, we
V?
can't get this right. Yeah, totally, with a V.
Okay.
And now I've got you all confused? No?
No, I'm fine. Let's see. UChicago GIS says that you also need to have familiarity with the software you're scripting with. You can't just take a comp sci student and get them going with ArcPy, which is
Absolutely, right? I mean, ArcPy is crazy. I mean, it's like you show it to people all the time and who never saw it before, and they're kind of like, seriously? You want me to use that? Whereas if you use ArcGIS all the time, those concepts make sense to you.
Yeah. It's, starting from ArcGIS, moving to ArcPy is pretty natural.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started getting into R for statistics, I don't get to use it in work, but I like to use it because I'm a big fan of baseball, and I'm always doing baseball stuff in R. When I first started working with that, I was like, dude, who was the crazy guy that came up with all these rules? It's like, this doesn't make any sense, and you struggle with it. And, Madeline, you should script your thesis.
I have been, I've been using scripting for that.
Are you writing it in Markdown?
I designed my thesis, so I had to.
And then compiling it to PDF?
You mean to actually script the writing part? No, I just scripted the model development and calibration.
Selling yourself short.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't even think about trying to use Markdown. I don't even. That's not a...
One of my good friends works for a production company that does those shows on Animal Planet. All those goofy shows like My Dog Can Walk on Its Hind Legs, and the Wiener Nationals. All these crazy. My Dog is Crazy. There's good money in that, by the way. There's no production costs. You just got a bunch of, students that graduated university, and they hold the little cameras and they record the demo. He writes the scripts in Markdown, just in an editor, and then does some sort of thing that compiles it to PDFs, and he sends those PDFs out to everybody. I saw him do it. It's wild. He's just
so why is that easier than writing it in like Word and then printing it to PDF?
Of course it's not.
Okay.
Totally not easier. I mean, well, It may be a little bit easier, but 90% of what we do is kind of crazy. Just we like doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have about a third of an acre in my backyard of lawn, which is pretty big, and at least for Arizona. And I have a little push mower. It would be a lot easier for me to get a riding John Deere and go around and have a little beer cup, on there, but I don't, because I like pushing a mower around. It makes me feel like I'm working out even though I'm not.
It's a form of exercise, mild exercise.
And so I think that's why people do crazy stuff, because we're humans and we're kind of nutty that way, right? No. Oh, Matlib. Yeah, Madlib. Wait, Madlib? What's a variation of Madlib? Oh, that script. What if you did your thesis as a Madlib? Create a bunch of keywords.
Just left a bunch of blanks for my thesis.
Yeah. Just find any old thesis, like someone that wrote it for something obscure, like penguin migration in South Africa, and then just do a find and replace all the words that are penguin related, and then create a keyword list for your thesis, and then just auto-populate the thing, and you're done.
It's like the worst advice I've had all year, I think.
What?
That's amazing.
No! It totally work. Wouldn't it?
It would be amusing, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I don't know that my advisor would find it terribly amusing, but
see, there you go again with advisors and theses,
uh,
theses.
these are
So I have to come clean. I was working on my master's thesis, and then I quit. So I'm a failed. I just have a
sometimes
bachelor's.
you got to cut your losses, or if you've got better stuff going on, then you know
Yeah, I was young.
people make those choices all the time. It's nothing to be. It's no big deal.
Oh,
My dad was actually one class away from getting his undergraduate degree and never finished it. So it happens.
yeah, that's what happens when I work at WeoGeo and everyone has a doctorate but me. Who's going to get a doctorate?
Who has so Dave Dave Kohler, our CTO, has a doctorate. Does anyone else
Paul?
have one? Oh, Paul has one. I didn't realize. Okay.
There's a bunch of
Easy, easy
masters
going.
lying around, and then there's me. PhDs are overrated, yes. I work for two of them. I love them both, though, dearly.
Especially if they're watching right now, right?
So, one of the cool things that we did in the last week or so, yeah, thank you, Taylor, um, was we pushed out the new Natural Earth data set to WeoGeo, right? We know because you worked on that, and you did
Yeah.
the style file and everything on that. Anything cool that you got to work on in that?
Well, it was fun using the Maki icons, the SVG, so you can just put in that scale factor now and just change the size of that. Like before, when we wanted to use icons, we had to create the exact pixel dimensions for each zoom level that we needed. But with the SVG, you just have like your three basic sizes and then scale them up and down to your uh, to what you want. But it was just really fun making like that. I think that was the deepest tile set that I've made, and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the got good feedback from my teammates on the data team. It really helped me like spruce it up. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
those
I'm
those
pretty
those
happy with it.
Maki icons. If you haven't looked at those are it's like Maki Maki dot
Yeah.
mapbox.com or mapbox. There's if you, it's for the mapbox guys. So if you do a Maki search, you'll find them. There's hundreds of them, aren't there? Or there's quite a bit.
Yes, it's a fantastic resource, and they also have like a nice little tutorial for how to use Inkscape, which is free to change the colors of the Maki. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking those out. It's very nice of them to provide
Yeah, I
that
mean
for us.
scalable vector points. Those are kind of cool because you can do awesome things. As you said, you can do awesome things with them. Versus
Yeah.
bitmap points that are just so Windows 95 Mac OS 7ish. Yeah, there we go. Madeline put the link right there into the GitHub or the
Yeah,
IRC. So
IRC.
so those we used a couple. You gonna be able to use more? You think of those Maki icons?
As they are appropriate, I'll definitely use them again. I'm not working on anything right now that's relevant, but yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So any other good data sets you've been working on lately that you've gotten the cool stuff on? No.
um, I'm not coming up with anything at the moment. How about you,
Oh.
James?
Well, I've been trying to port what Madeline did for the she basically created the tiles for the natural earth in Mapnik, and I've been trying to port those to TileMill, just to have a little something in TileMill that I could quickly use to create listings using some of the tools that we've created to convert Mapnik tiles or TileMill MB tiles to the WeoGeo tile caches. It's still a big pain in the butt. It's part of that cut and paste hacking that they're sort of related, but not in enough good way that you have to sort of do them manually. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. I think TileMill is so easy to use that I'd like to have a nice WeoGeo background for any data I want to upload.
Yeah, I
And
think that's
sort of
a
been
good
doing that in
idea.
my spare time. I've got the ocean, which was easy, blue in a whole big world, and basically I think it's coming down to labeling. And labeling is one of those things where it's a lot of fun until you want to change it.
Time. Just takes time. Yeah.
It does take time, so I've been working on that a little bit, and then I'm working on a blog post I hope to have out maybe in December. I'm basically using some of the OpenStreetMap stuff we've done. So we've got this, for those that don't know, we've got this great OpenStreetMap planet inside of WeoGeo. So it allows you to basically extract out any area you want, go ahead and what kind of file format you want it in, and download it. And so I'm thinking, taking out, KML, uploading it to Fusion tables, and doing some linking to other files, just to see, how this works. I know a couple people have emailed me saying, hey, how do I get this stuff into Fusion tables? It's actually really easy, once you know how to do it. So I thought that would be kind of fun.
Cool.
Once you start really playing with the OpenStreetMap stuff, it's just, there's so much depth there. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's an amazing resource.
Yeah, I love it. So so I'm working on that, and then I'm also thinking about doing some Python fun with WeoGeo, extracting out those stuff. So maybe creating some Python scripts to create some downloads.
Cool. Sounds.
Because we love Python, right?
I do.
We talk about scripting every week. It's almost sound like a broken record, don't we? Oh well. No? See, I like talking about
Or
scripting.
fresh and fascinating every time, James. Well, I guess it's 10:31. We could probably wrap this up, huh?
Yeah. So who do we got next week?
We have Gary Gale from Nokia.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
I'm looking forward, because Nokia released a little app and a website called Here, which is all in caps, Here. I don't know if there's an exclamation point after it, but there probably should be.
For the iPhone? Is that what you're referring
to?
For
iPhone, for Android, probably for Windows, probably not so much for BlackBerry. I wonder if he was kind of talking, remember he was being kind of, maybe not to you, but he said, I'd like to be on, we figure out what a time, and he goes, after a certain period, late November, because they're releasing something. I wonder if that's what they released, was the Here. So we'll get to talk to Gary and see what's going on in Nokia land, and he'll be our first true international guest.
Yeah, he'll be
Canadians don't count.
Joining us from either Scotland, but he's been tweeting from London, so but he's
everything's upon on the Thames, right? It's like upon some river. Every city is something upon something. It's like Phoenix upon Salt River. That doesn't make sense, right? Or Portland. What's the river you're on?
The Willamette.
Yeah, Portland upon Willamette. I mean, it creates this big, long thing. But I had in college, my roommate was a Shakespearean literature major, who he's not even on Facebook. I have no idea what happened to him. He's probably living in a gutter with a degree in Shakespearean literature. But it's all about the English stuff, and he always used to talk about something upon something where, I don't know, Shakespearean people. I mean, he wasn't even a real guy. I don't get that, right?
What?
Shakespeare wasn't real.
I think that's highly disputed.
No, he's some sort of pen name for
exactly.
King James the First or something like that.
Somebody said that once, but it is definitely not verified.
He was probably German.
What?
Why not? Well, then why would you Shakespeare? That even sounds fake. What's that movie with Heath Ledger?
No.
Remember Knight's Tale, right? Knight's Tale. Remember that movie with Heath Ledger?
That was about Chaucer.
Oh, he was Chaucer, right? There's all these English literature people. You've edited my my newsletters and blog posts. You know how I write. English is a second language around here. Oh well. So we got Gary. Gary. We got Gary next week. So we'll be back, and everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Sorry we didn't have Luke, but we'll have him on soon. And yeah, thanks. Have a happy holiday.
Yeah, all Americans have a happy holiday. The Canadians already had their Thanksgiving like 2 months ago. I don't know why they do that.
And people in Europe eat some French fries with gravy or something to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Join us.
Good luck, guys. We'll be gone for the next 2 days. Don't screw up the world while we're gone.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Madeline. Bye. Take care, guys.
Mm-hmm.